Michele Romanow. At 31 years old, she's the world's youngest dragon. But her business savvy is beyond her years. She's already a veteran of 5 successful startups. The key traits in her DNA? Learn, adapt, and always advance.
Nobody taught me how to run a business. I just watched the world around me. And I didn't think it was that complicated. And I think that total ignorance made it possible for me to learn.
Michele was born in Calgary and spent her early years in Regina. She's the eldest of 4 siblings and a natural-born overachiever.
I loved school. I loved learning. I believed that I can learn everything, and I still believe that people can learn everything. I wanted to learn, I wanted to win, and I became really competitive about getting the best marks, about being the best pianist, about, you know, becoming an athlete. I was so focused on all of these things that I wanted to do well, and I think my parents really fostered that, but they fostered the geek inside me. They got me to become very good at math and very good at numbers.
Her academic drive led her to leave her prairie homestead to conquer one of the most prestigious engineering programs in the country.
I figured out by first year that I wasn't going to be the most amazing engineer, so I thought, why don't I start a business here?
And so began the Tea Room, a zero-waste, student-operated coffee shop on Queen's Kingston campus that's still thriving 11 years later.
For me, it was wanting to build something from nothing and seeing if I could actually do that.
Whenever she's back on campus, Michele loves to revisit her first successful startup.
Awesome. So we have one of these for you. Awesome. I think it's about time you get to work.
Okay, let's do it. I had no idea what I was doing when I first started. I went to competitor coffee shops, tried to copy them, met some profs, and it was really just trial by fire to figure it all out in the early days. I built the project myself, we got to open it, we were profitable in our first year, and we actually fulfilled our environmental mandate.
That taste of early success
Latte!
was enough to trigger the development of her next business. Michele teamed up with fellow engineering student Anatoly Melnichuk.
Just like the old days.
And they're still business partners today.
Deja vu?
Mm-hmm. Now, for the first time, they're retracing their business baby steps to New Brunswick.
Man, I can't believe we're back.
Where they launched their first venture a decade ago.
We were nuts. We were university students that believed that we could produce one of the oldest luxury products in the world that we knew nothing about.
Did you have like the big orange buoys out there? Yes.
Yes.
I remember
That was
those.
us.
The company was called Evandale Caviar. They worked tirelessly to fish, produce, and sell high-end sturgeon caviar to the demanding U.S. market.
I had never tasted caviar. I'd actually never gone fishing in my life. I'd never done any of those activities.
I remember the first time they pulled one of these massive 200-pound dinosaur-looking fish out of the water, and I was like, holy, we've done it.
So this is the plant we rented to harvest the fish that we catch every morning in Evandale.
Wow, it's really run down.
I know. This isn't how I remember.
Too bad I let it go.
In 2008, the financial crisis meant their potential plummeted south of the border. After just 3 months in business, they shut down the company.
Remember those things over there?
Do you remember we were in there and waiters holding up those little fish, thousands of little sturgeons swimming around us?
It hurts a lot when you can't grow and scale your business in the way you want to. But, you know, an entrepreneur isn't supposed to be married to every idea. They're supposed to be constantly seeking new opportunities. And so, you know, the tide had shifted on this one and we had to shift with it.
Kind of surreal being back.
I know.
Michele shifted into new uncharted waters, the big city and tech.
Hey guys, good morning. Okay, so let's get started.
Diving headfirst into the exploding tech industry, she launched Buytopia in 2011, a daily deal platform that became one of Canada's largest e-commerce companies.
What's kind of the top deal right now on the website?
From there, she developed Snap, an app that gives users cash back for everyday purchases. Never one to stop advancing, Michele sold Snap to American couponing giant Groupon for 8 figures. Now, the Prairie Girl spends much of her time in the center of the digital universe.
You know, San Francisco is the biggest stage there is for tech. This is the Mecca. And so being here allows you to be exposed to incredibly ambitious people, great investors that are willing to take bets. And I think it even allows me to dream even bigger.
She's applying her golden touch to her 5th startup, ClearBank, a banking platform for freelancers in the new on-demand economy.
So with ClearBank, we enable the millions of people that are starting to join on-demand platforms and all the freelancers in America to get better access to financial services.
Now her days are spent pitching big money tech investors.
So how do we grow from here?
That's a great question, Alex.
She's still fishing for big catches, but now it's to partner with giants like Airbnb and Uber.
So Sarah, thank you so much for having us today. I think we...
At Uber headquarters, Michele pitched the transportation behemoth on a partnership with ClearBank and landed a deal.
I think one of the big differentiators here is our credit model. Most banks haven't looked at this group and have been traditionally scared to touch this group, so I think that gives us, you know, a big competitive advantage. I literally pitch every single day that I'm working. It doesn't matter if it's pitching an investor or pitching an employee or pitching a deal that I want to close on behalf of my company. And so I think that gives me a ton of empathy for the pitchers that come on the den.
This millennial is at the top of her game, but Michele still doesn't consider herself made.
She's very well known to a lot of you, Michele Romanow.
If you tell yourself you've made it, you stop working and you stop being excited. There's been so many awesome, successful moments that have felt wonderful. But for me, I don't think I've made it. I think there's so much more left to do for me.